Yeah, well, good evening, everybody, and we'll get going in just a couple of moments. We'll just let a few more people arrive, and before we get properly started in what's happened in the FAWNL over the past 7 days or so. We've got plenty to look back on in all of the league tables, and 60 FAWNL sides are in action this weekend in the Women's FA Cup. And of course, we also have the big new strategy from the FA to discuss as well. So we'll just give it a minute or so for people to get in, but do get involved in the live chat this evening as well. Any thoughts or questions about the things being discussed? I've also got my @WFootballChat Twitter open as well, so be able to have a look at that. But the live chat is the best place to be seen and to have a discussion about the FAWNL this evening. So yes, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Women's Football Chat, episode 159. This is a live one, just see kind of what the reception of live shows is like, and see how they fit in with the rest of my schedule. So it'll be the usual show, but a little bit of extra discussion in there as well. So we will start as we normally do with the news from this past 7 days, and the big news has really come out of today. The FA has released its new strategy for women's football over the next 4 years, from now until 2028, and it's really, at the moment, it's kind of outlining what's going to happen. It's a bit more of a pamphlet type thing. There's information in there, but they've not gone into a huge amount of detail. And really, the things that interested me the most from that, particularly regarding the FAWNL, is they want to enhance the football pyramid. And there's a little bit of looking into there, isn't there, about what the word enhance means. They wanted to, they said it somewhere else as well, kind of support all clubs at the level that they should be at. And yeah, they wanted to enhance the pyramid. Does that mean an expansion? You would feel at some point an expansion kind of has to come. But obviously everything's all up in the air at the moment. Nobody really knows what's going to happen over the next few years. Obviously each club's got its own finances and its own issues surrounding that. We've got, particularly in tier 3, some clubs really going for it to get into these top 2 tiers, some clubs happy where they are in tier 3, some teams being really stretched at tier 3, and it's the same at tier 4, and it's the same all the way down the pyramid as well. So there is kind of plenty that needs looking into of that. And of course, as we have seen year on year, if you've been with the Women's Football Chat now since it started three and a bit years ago, the fortunes of clubs and the situations of clubs can change not only season upon season, but month upon month and even week upon week sometimes. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes in. But yeah, let me know in the chat as well. Do you want to see an expansion? How many teams would you want the divisions to go to? Do you want 14, 16? 18, something like that? Nick, expansion is needed of the WSL Women's Championship to help grow the game. Yeah, absolutely, Nick. I think you're right there. You've got to, having a 12 and an 11 at the moment is not good for anybody. You'll need, I mean, for me, I think 2 16s is the way probably to go. And have 4 championship teams moving up into the Super League. That would leave them with 8, and then you could move the top 4 from tier 3, 4 from each division, up into the championship, which in my view, you could look at, particularly, Forest are going for it, Burnley are putting money in, Rugby are a strong side again, Wolves are up there as they are every single year. You move into the south, your Ipswich's, your Oxford's, your hashtag United. This is their second year being right up there towards the top. So, there's plenty of teams that I think would really relish the opportunity to make that jump. But you've got to maybe do it gradually, maybe go to a 14 and a 14 and leave it a couple of years, then go a 16 and 16. What you've then got to do is, okay, do you make tier 3 a national tier, or do you keep it north and south, and then everybody's got to move up, and you've got to make sure that those people tier 5, tier 4 can afford to make the move up without struggling and then dropping back down the divisions again and causing real trouble in the pyramid. So there is plenty to kind of explore within that expansion, but it has to be done within the right way. Right, let's get straight down to it then. We'll move into the results from the past 7 days in the FAWNL. We will start in the Northern Premier Division. Just 4 games because of postponements in the international break. Derby County beating Hull City by 4 goals to 2. Hope Knight and Helen Linsky with the goals for Hull. Camille Jenkins, Amelia Wilson and Shen Muir with the goals for Derby. That is, of course, only 3 of the 4 goals. There is 1 from the 41st minute that is missing. There is plenty that is missing from the past week. I think of the 30 games, 11 of them were missing data come the deadline. It was Daisy Burt, I remember now from doing my own stats document, that got that other goal for Derby. In fact, we still don't have a lineup for West Brom, but they lost by 3 goals to 0 to Stoke City. Millie Ravening, Tamara Wilcock and Evie Priestley with the goals for Stoke. Big win for Stourbridge against Sporting Cowser. 2-1 they win that one. Ruby Shaw in the 87th minute with the only goal for Cowser, but Daisy May Clements in the 40th minute with Stourbridge's goal plus, well, there's only one that's been put on the system again. So Stourbridge, you need to sort that out. And then the final game, a big win for Wolves, which I know in the chat there Nick will be very happy with. Beating Halifax by 6 goals to 0. Charlotte Greengrass, Amber Hughes, Beth Merrick, Anya Denham and 2 for Rachel Quigley there. So Wolves, who I thought actually would score quite a few more goals than the 6 that they did, particularly because they went 2-0 up inside the first 8 minutes. I thought that was a real opportunity for them to get a big goal difference swing for them, but it wasn't to be. They kept it at 6. So that are the 4 games from the Northern Premier Division. We have a look at the Northern table then. There is a change at the top. Wolverhampton Wanderers go 2 points clear of Nottingham Forest with that victory over Halifax. Forest do still have a game in hand, but Wolves with the all-important points on the board. The goal difference is still in Forest's favour. And then the only other movement from the past 7 days, Derby County going up a spot over Hull City with the victory over them. So they are now up into 8th. Stourbridge, though, have a 3-point gap between themselves and the bottom 2 after beating Sporting Cowser. So you feel as well there is that big top half, bottom half split in the Northern Premier Division. And that 6-point gap between Feds and West Brom, plus Liverpool, Feds, Stoke City. They've all got games in hand. Everybody from 2 down to 6 has got games in hand over 7th, 8th, 9th. So there's plenty of opportunity for that gap to grow even more. And again, really down towards the bottom now. It's 7 points between Sporting Cowser in 11th, Derby County in 8th. So no, that 7-point gap is starting to look at, particularly when you see that Sporting Cowser, they've played 9, so they've got 13 left. They're nearly at the halfway point of the season with just the 3 points. They have to have a big turn of form in the second half to catch Derby, and even they need a couple of wins to catch up to Hull, and a decent chunk of goals in that to switch the goal difference around. So it is starting to look a little bit difficult for some of those sides. Halifax in particular, they're already 9 points behind Derby County. They don't look as though they're going to get too many points towards the back end of the season. There's not many games you would think, particularly when you've got to play Wolves again, Forest again, all these top sides again that are gunning for promotion. That there's that many opportunities to pick up too many more points. Southern Premier Division, then we've got 5 games to go through in the south because of one from last night. So we'll start with Exeter City 0, #United 0. That didn't take very long, but #United did play the second half with just 10. Hayley West, 21st minute booking, and then a 45 plus 3 minutes sending off. So #United may well consider that a very good point on the road in Exeter after such having to play the second half with 10. Exeter City beating MK Dons by 13 goals to 0. Really big victory for Ipswich Town, 7-0 at half-time, 13-0 it finished. Maisie Barker with 2, Leah Mitchell with 1, Lucy O'Brien with 2, Sophie Peskett with 4, Natasha Thomas with 1, Isabel Bryant with 1, and Eloise King with 1. Very, very difficult afternoon for Milton Keynes Dons, who have struggled so much so far this season. Lewis beating Cheltenham Town by 3 goals to 0, 2 for Poppy Durhan and 1 for Olivia Carpenter, giving Lewis the 3 points there. And Oxford United beating Billericay Town by 4 goals to 0. Zoe Creaney, Leah Burridge, Phoebe Poole and Adele Lindbeck with the goals in that one. Last night, AFC Wimbledon beat Watford away by a goal to 0. Carolina Haya-Taylor on the half-hour mark, the only goal of that game. So Wimbledon winning by a goal to 0. And plenty of movement in the Southern Premier Division table. And top 4 all stay the same. Wimbledon up a couple of places up into 5th. Billericay down 1, Lewis up 1, Watford down 2. They're not seeming to be the same side they were that got promoted a couple of years ago. Gwalior United are up 1 without playing a game. That's because Cheltenham Town's goal difference after that 3-0 loss is now worse than Gwalior's. But still, again, 5-point gap between Plymouth Argyle in 11th, Cheltenham Town in 10th, and Gwalior in 9th for that matter. But it seems like it's going to be a bit of a mini league between those sides as well. It's another 3-point gap to Watford, and that's 8 points from Plymouth up to Watford, and they don't have any games in hand on them, so it's going to be quite difficult. Again, you would feel for those sides to make big inroads. We've seen it done, but it might be a bit more difficult. So plenty of movement kind of in the mid-table there. Top all stays the same. #United clear by a point over Oxford United, but Ipswich are just 3 points behind with 2 in hand, and Exeter City are 6 behind # with 1 game in hand. So the top could begin to close up even more. Let's move through then into Tier 4. With the Division 1 Midlands. So Barnsley Women 0, Loughborough Lightning 4. Another victory for Loughborough, 2 for Jessica Collier and 1 for Ella May Coots. With the goals, and 2 for Ella May Coots for Loughborough Lightning. Northampton Town winning by 7 goals to 0 away at Lincoln City. You will have seen this on the FAWNL's Twitter. Jade Bell with 7 goals in this game. 15th, 23rd, 27th, 42, 45 plus 2, 51 and 71. And it sparked a little bit of a debate this game on social media, with the league posting about it and videos of the goals about what should the league be posting and what maybe shouldn't, particularly with a win like that over a team in Lincoln that's clearly struggling a bit this season. It doesn't show the league in the best light, having huge victories like that, as much as the 7 goals for Jade Bell was a great achievement for her. So we're really interested to get your thoughts on that again in the live chat. Peterborough United 6, Lincoln United 1. Amy Copley with the only goal for Lincoln United. 6 for Peterborough. Poppy Brown, Keir Perkins, Neve Reynolds, 2 for Tara Kirk, and an own goal in there as well for Lincoln United. So another good win for Peterborough. 3-3 between Sutton Coldfield Town and Worcester City. Eva Casti opened the scoring for Sutton Coldfield in just the second minute, and they were 2-0 up in this game. Actually, and they might have been 3-0 up. There was two goals. Sorry, no, it was 2-1. Chloe Finn in the 18th minute, so 2-0. Worcester City get one back through Leah Ritson in the 65th. Then Olivia Mitchum in the 70th. Neve DC in the 70th for Sutton Coldfield made them go 3-2 in front. And then Olivia Mitchum, 75th minute, made it 3-3. So a great game by the sounds of it there in Sutton. Then we go to Bournemouth St Michael's 3, Notts County 1. This was kind of that mid-table battle that I spoke about on last week's show. Anna Wilcox in the 19th minute, Molly Towers in the 44th, Janelle Stracker in the 45th for Bournemouth St Michael's, Leah Hardy in the 77th minute getting one back for Notts, but with 3-0 down at half-time, it was always going to be a tall order for them. And Solihull Moors 0, Leafield Athletic 3, goals to Jessica Lowe in the 4th minute, Abby Cowie in the 38th, and Evangeline Gallup in the 83rd. As Nick says there in the live chat, Leafield smashing it. Tash doing a great job there. Absolutely, Tash Tesdell doing a terrific job at Leafield Athletic. They are second in Division 1 Midlands, just 1 point behind Peterborough United. The only movement in Division 1 Midlands from the past 7 days, Bournemouth St Michael's, after beating Notts County, have leapfrogged them in the midfield. But particularly in Division 1 Midlands, you can see a real jump there between the top 4 and everybody else. So you've got Peterborough on 25, Leafield on 24, Northampton on 21, but with a game in hand, Loughborough on 19, but with 2 games in hand. So it's not quite going to work like that because the Northampton game in hand and one of Loughborough's game in hand is against each other. But you have almost a situation in Division 1 Midlands where you've got Peterborough, 9 games, 25 points. Leafield, 9 games, 24 points. Northampton could be 9 games, 24 points, and Loughborough could be 9 games, 25 points, and you could have the top 4 separated by just a point. As it is, that's not quite going to happen, but it's still going to be the top 4 separated by like 3 points as we near the halfway point of the season. Of course, it does start to slow down slightly because of all these cup competitions, and no doubt we're going to start getting postponements as well as the weeks tick on. But already there you can see there's that 6-point gap between 4th and 5th, plus the games in hand that Loughborough have got. That gap's going to open up really quite quickly. And then you've got these mid-table teams, kind of 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, that are kind of in a little bit of no man's land, not really in too much danger from the sides down towards the bottom, but a bit too far away to start thinking about any sort of promotion challenge. But everything's still the same down towards the bottom. Worcester City are now only in the relegation zone on goal difference after they got a point. Lincoln City still yet to get a point this season and are 4 points away from safety as the difficult season for them continues. Right, North results then, 6 games here as well. A huge one down towards the bottom as AFC Fylde beat Doncaster Rovers Bells by a 1-0. Chung Mankari Chan in the 89th minute, very late goal for AFC Fylde, but they get what proves to be a valuable 3 points. Huddersfield Town beating York City by 2-0. Scarlett McMahon in the 15th minute with the first goal for Huddersfield and an own goal on the hour mark as well. So York City, another defeat for them. Leeds United 2-0 up over Barnsley. Amy Woodruff in the 13th minute, Alice Hughes in the 16th minute. So 2 very quick goals for Leeds United there, and they held on to that for the rest of the game. Battle of Division of the North East, Middlesbrough 3, Durham Sestra 0, 2 for Millie Bell and 1 for Leanna Giles. Cheadle's good start to the season continues. They won 1-0 away at Norton Stockton Ancients. Jessica Gillen with the goal just inside the first quarter of an hour gave Cheadle another 3 points. And Chorley winning a 6-goal thriller against Stockport County by 4-2. Maria Figueiredo and Elizabeth Hamer with the goals for Stockport, but 2 for Molly Wood, 1 for Faye Stanhope, and a missing goal for Chorley gives them the 3 points in the table then. all the changes at the bottom. AFC FAWNL, that's how close the bottom of Division 1 North is. One win over somebody else down towards the bottom of the table. You're up 3 places and you're no longer bottom of the table or even in the relegation zone. Those bottom 5 teams separated by just 1 point at the moment, with York City having a game in hand over everybody and 2 in hand over Doncaster Rovers Bell, so all could still change there. Towards the top, Middlesbrough top of the table, they won. Chorley second, they won. Cheadle third, they won. Leeds fourth, they won. Huddersfield fifth, they won. So that all stays exactly the same. South East then. 5 games to go through here, with Wimbledon having to play their plate second round game again. Actonians 2, London Seawood 0. Goals in this one: Prudence Warmoff in the 23rd minute, Catherine Turner in the 49th. So Actonians getting all 3 points. Chatham Town just beating Ashford Town by a goal to 0. Ellie Perkins in the with the only goal for Chatham, no time recorded on that, gives them the victory. London Bees against Norwich, a 3-3 draw here. Norwich with yet another draw on their system, and a late equaliser for London Bees here. So Shannon Shaw got a hat-trick for Norwich City. That was their 3 goals, but London Bees 16th minute and the 45+1 for Samantha Gabion, but then Hayley Hoare in the 94th minute getting London Bees' 3rd goal, and that really pegs Norwich back. Queen's Park Rangers and Dulwich Hamlet play out a 0-0 draw, and Rail Bedford beat Chesham United by 12 goals to 2. That was 5 goals for Abby Benstead in a game that never seems to really finish for Chesham United. Because, well, Abby Benstead got 2 in stoppage time, 90+6 and 90+10 there. So 40, 50, 89, 90+6 and 90+10 for Benstead. Gemma Biggerdike in the 66th minute, 2 for Amy McLean, 24 and 70. Chara Miola in the 60th, Layla O'Brien 20th and 47th. And Sophia Stovold in the 64th minute. Gemma Fraser, as I said, with 2 for Chesham United. So the Southeast table, it's all changed, particularly towards the top. The bottom is all as it was, but Actonians now in front. Norwich City, with yet another draw to their name, means that they drop down to 2nd. Rail Bedford up a place to 3rd. Chatham Town up 3 places into 4th, and they, with a game in hand, are just 3 points off the top of the table. Rail Bedford have a game in hand. They're only 2 points off the top of the table. When they play that, we could see another leader in Division 1 South East, but still just 7 points separating 1st and 9th. It's clearly, in terms of kind of the tightness of the league and kind of the excitement of the league, the best of the 6 in the FAWNL. 7 points the gap between 1st and 9th, and then it really is just a mini league with the teams down at the bottom. Chesham United 10th on 4 points, London Seawood 11th on 3, and Ashford Town 12th on 3. Which 2 of those 3 I think is the case of which 2 of those 3 do you think are going to be the ones that go down from Division 1 South East, because already it's a long way back for those sides. So again, would love to hear your thoughts in the live chat. Right, Division 1 South West then, 5 games to go through to cover all of the results from the past 7 days. Bournemouth Sports 0, Moneyfields 2. Goals in this one to Kimberly Fuller in the 38th minute and Megan Wood in the 88th minute. Keynsham Town 2, Bridgewater United 1. Hannah Price in the 68th minute, Vicky Vipond in the 91st. Keely Banfield with the only goal for Bridgewater United, and then followed that up with a red card. So Bridgewater down to 10 for part of that game and end up losing it by 2 goals to 1. Bristol Rovers beating Portishead Town away from home by a goal to 0. 39th minute to Jodie Exley, the only goal in that game. And AFC Bournemouth, one of their games in hand over Swindon. They've got plenty of them. They've got 3 left now. They beat Southampton Women's by 10 goals to 0. Molly Clark in the 19th minute, a hat-trick for Erin Bloomfield. Kelsey Bowers with 1, Katie James with 1, Jenna Markham with 2, and Ellie Stripple with 1 as well. Very convincing win for AFC Bournemouth. And in the later kickoff, Worthing 2, Abingdon United 1. Second minute opener for Emily Linsker, 1 for Georgia Tibble, 82nd minute, and Molly Ligo Jackson with the only goal for Abingdon United. No movement at all in the Southwest table. So everything kind of pretty much still stays the same. The odd gap has changed. But AFC Bournemouth now down to 7 points behind Swindon Town with 3 games in hand. Obviously, Swindon didn't play, but Moneyfield has won, Bournemouth won, Bristol Rovers won, Keynsham Town won, and Worthing won. So the top 5 all won. Maidenhead United, the other team that didn't play, and then the bottom 5 all lost to the teams between 2 and 6. So yeah, Division 1 Southwest is exactly the same as it was last week, with Southampton Women's bottom of the table and Abingdon United in 11th. One more result then to go through, and it was from the FAWNL Plate second round. Southampton Academy scoring twice late on to pull AFC Wimbledon back, and then were beating them by 6 goals to 5 on penalties. So heartbreaking for Wimbledon, who, as I said, were in front for Ellen Dory in the 66th minute and Carolina Aya Taylor in the 69th minute, before an 86th minute and 88th minute goal for Southampton pulled them back level. And then, as I said, they won by 6 goals to 5 on penalties. So it means we've got 2 PGA sides in the final 8 of the plate competition, and they have both been drawn at home as well. So it's Manchester United against Loughborough, it's Southampton against Norwich in those quarterfinals. Hopefully Loughborough and Norwich can do the business for the FAWNL, but we will see. So we've got then to the end of the results from the past 7 days. We'll have a look then at some of the stuff that's been going on. Now we've got to the end of October, primarily the award races. So the stats I've been keeping a track of over the course of the season so far. So in the Northern Premier Division, Golden Glove race, it's Wolves' Rebecca Thomas out in front with 6 clean sheets so far. Emily Batty of Forest behind her on 5. Amber Hughes of Wolves also, she leads the Golden Boot race. So Wolves 2 categories there that they are winning. Yasmin Mosby for rugby in second with 9. Tamara Wilcock also with 9 there for Stoke City. And then Player of the Season. Now, Player of the Season is awarded to the player who gets the most Opposition Player of the Match awards throughout the course of the season. Phoebe Warner of West Bromwich Albion currently leading that in the Northern Premier Division with 5. In the Southern Premier Division, it's a clean sweep for Ipswich. Natalia Negri leads Golden Glove with 6. Sophie Peskett leads the Golden Boot with 11. And Sophie Peskett leads Player of the Season with 5. Ipswich doing a great job across the board there. Division 1 Midlands, it's Leafield Athletics' Colette Bell with 5 clean sheets leading the way. Jade Bell was in kind of a tie for second in the Golden Boot. Then she went and scored 7 goals at the weekend. So leads that by with 13 goals. Evangeline Gallop of Leafield Athletic is in second on 7 alongside Jessica Collier. Player of the Season though, Olivia Woolston, 7 already for Sutton Coldfield. So yeah, it's a very standout player for Sutton, you'd have to say, so far this season, and already really staking a claim. Anybody who hasn't already got a Player of the Match award is going to have a hard time catching her up in the remaining games. Division 1 North, Ruby Cook of Middlesbrough leads the clean sheets on 5. Jessica Gillen of Cheadle Town Stingers leads the Golden Boot with 8. And a similar situation in the North. Erin Nicholson of Durham Sestra, 7 Player of the Season awards already this year. Division 1 South East, Actonians' Eliza Doggle leads the Golden Glove with 4, alongside Sarah Quantrill of Norwich and Saskia Reeves-Priestley of Dulwich Hamlet. Abby Benstead of Rail Bedford with 8 leads the way in the Golden Boot, ahead of Gemma Fraser with Cheshire United in 7. And then Player of the Season awards, Dior Noor with 7 of those as well, 3 ahead of Nina Miolo and Isabella Simmons. Division 1 South West, it's Swindon's Hannah Cox with 5. Golden Boot is Jenna Markham with 10 goals, and Samantha Cripps with 4 Player of the Season awards as well in Division 1 South West. If you want to look at the top 5 and ties in more detail, then they are over on women's at W Football Chat, which is the Twitter account for this show. Right, let's then have a look at what's coming up in the next 7 days. It's all the first round proper of the FA Cup. So tier 3 sides coming into the competition alongside the remaining tier 4 sides. We have 60 FAWNL sides left. We have 116 teams in the competition still. They will get taken down to 58 this weekend. Then in round 2 they will get taken down to 29. Then we add in the 11 championship teams to make it 40. That then goes down to 20, and we add the Super League sides in. So the 4th round is the one everybody's hoping to get to draw a Super League side. But of course the 3rd round is where the money all of a sudden ramps up because of that, the way the money kind of goes gradual. Oh, the top teams are in. Yeah, we'll spike it up there then. So we'll have a look at the FA Cup games. You will lose my face for this, which is probably a blessing for your computer screens. So FA Cup first round proper, still regionalised, of course, and so the numbers in brackets here, they are the tier in which that team plays in. So Cheadle Town Stingers against AFC Fylde, an all Division 1 North tie. FC St Helens of Tier 6 host Doncaster Rovers Bells of Tier 4. Washington of Tier 6 against Hull City of Tier 3. Handsworth of Tier 6 against York City. Burnley against Spennymoor Town. Thornaby take on Liverpool Feds. Durham Cester against Norton Stockton Ancients, another big derby game there. Huddersfield Town against Nantwich Town. Wythenshawe against Middlesbrough. Mancunian Unity against Stockport County. South Shields take on Halifax. Stamford against Worcester City. Loughborough Lightning against Sutton Coldfield Town. Notts County against Sporting Cowser. Bournemouth St Michael's against Nottingham Forest. Those two sides met each other in the 3rd round last year. Forest getting the better of them there. Asford Amateurs of Tier 6 are hosting Wolverhampton Wanderers. Great occasion for them. Shrewsbury Town against Northampton Town, and Knoll against West Bromwich Albion. Nick says, go Knoll, 1, 2, 3, 4. Albion get battered everywhere they go. Yeah, you would say that being a Wolves fan, Nick. And yeah, I think, I mean, in terms, I know Nick asked earlier on which FA Cup tie most interests me. There's a few in there I'm interested in. I mean, this is only the first page of 3, but I'm interested in Notts County hosting Sporting Cowser. How do a team in the top half of Tier 4 do against a team that's kind of struggling in Tier 3 and was Tier 4 last season? Mancunian Unity, of course, beat Leeds last round. They're now coming up against Stockport County, so they'll fancy themselves again. South Shields against Halifax interests me as well, because Halifax, of course, are struggling in Tier 3. You would hope that they still have enough to get past a Tier 5 side, but of course we don't know. But I'm curious to see where the upsets are going to come from this round. If we move on to the second page, then AFC Telford United are hosting Stourbridge. Stoke City against Hednesford Town. Derby County against Leafield Athletic. Rugby Borough against Lincoln City. Peterborough United take on Billericay Town. London Seaward against Hackney. AFC Sudbury against Bowers and Pitsea. Hashtag United against Wroxham. Ipswich Town take on MK Dons. Well, we know what happened when they met each other last weekend. Cambridge United against Norwich City, Pennant Tigers Green against Queen's Park Rangers, Oxford United against Actonians, Comets of Tier 7, that's the kind of county leagues level Tier 7, AFC Wimbledon against Watford, Lewes against Dulwich Hamlet, Fulham against Chesham United, Chatham Town against Dorking Wanderers, and Farnham Town against London Bees. So again, on that second page, obviously Wimbledon against Watford happened last night. Wimbledon won. You've got Ipswich against MK Dons, could be another cricket score again. Nick, Posh to knock out Billericay. I could see that, absolutely. Peterborough United, top of Tier 4, knocking out Billericay Town of Tier 3. Actonians of Tier 4 might well give Oxford United a good go as well, and Fulham to beat Chesham. I can see that as well, Nick. Absolutely. Fifth tier against Tier 4 Fulham. If I just look it up again, I think they're going pretty well in Tier 5 at the moment. They are currently third in Tier 5. Just 3 points off the top of the table, but with game in hand and much better goal difference. So, yeah, Fulham to give Chesham United a very good run for their money, you would think. And then final page, it's only really half a page. Torquay United against Bridgewater United. Torquay, of course, in the FAWNL last year. Cheltenham Town of Tier 3 against Yeovil Town. Bristol Rovers against Sherborne Town, Plymouth Argyle against Poole Town, Saltash United against AFC Bournemouth, Bournemouth Sports against Moneyfields, Gwalior United against Swindon Town, and Exeter City against Keynsham Town. On that page, I'm particularly interested in Gwalior United against Swindon Town. Gwalior United, of course, in 9th in the Southern Premier Division, not having the greatest of years so far. Swindon Town top of Division 1 South West. But in Division 1 South West, of course, again, last weekend, Bournemouth Sports lost 2-0 to Moneyfields at home. And now Moneyfields go there again this weekend, but this time in the FA Cup. So that is everything. We've got one midweek league fixture next week, but that's not until next Thursday. So we'll cover that on next week's show. But that's everything. That is the 44 ties that involve the 60 FAWNL sides. So we have 16 therefore all FAWNL ties. It might be more than that. No, it will be that 16 all FAWNL ties. So we're going to lose at least 16 teams and be down to 44. But if there's a couple of shocks in there as well, it might be even less than that. So that does about do it for this week's show. So give it a couple of minutes for any kind of questions or comments from the week's events before we wrap up for another week. This is episode 159. So there's plenty to go on here, and we'll just give you a couple of minutes to sort that, and then we'll wrap up for the show. But it's your opportunity to get any questions or comments in on the live chat before we wrap up. Which FA Cup game are you most excited about over the course of the weekend? And how far as well do you think FAWNL sides have the capacity to go? If this is your first year with the women's football chats, then I cover the FA Cup as long as there's an FAWNL side in it. This is the show, as it says there on the logo above my head, dedicated to the third and fourth tiers of the women's game, which is the FAWNL. So yeah, we'll wrap it up there then, and say thank you very much for watching and watching this week's show. I'm so used to doing my normal outro, watching and or listening for the audio version of this, but watching this live version of the show. if you want to keep up with the latest from the FAWNL, then at WFootballChat is the place on Twitter for this show, or X, or whatever you want to call it now. I still call it Twitter. For all of the latest. You've got the results and the tables over the course of the season, and various bits of stats. I've been keeping the stats documents going, so when we get to our Christmas break, which scarily is already on the board, so if yeah, Christmas is not that far away now. 8 weeks it is until the big day. So yeah, we'll have a bit of a break, but through the Christmas break, I'll run those stats documents as well. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and or see, I've done it again. There you go, watching this week's live version of the Women's Football Chat, and be back next Thursday. If I do a recorded show, it'll be 6 o'clock. If not, it'll be live at 8 o'clock again for next week's Women's Football Chat. But thank you for your company this evening. This will be available to watch back if you've missed any of it. And goodbye.